there's no, but you could see as long as you stand in there, you're good. We archive all of our back porch readings and readings on our YouTube channel, which is on the website. And we kind of, during the pandemic, we did a lot of Zoom readings. So we've got about, I think, 6 years worth of events on there. So feel free to explore that out. There's some great poets. So welcome, Jonathan and Scott. We're going to start with Jonathan Price. And I'm really glad that you're here tonight. I know Jonathan through the Albuquerque and the New Mexico State Poetry Society. And John is the new co-chair of the New Mexico State Poetry Society Albuquerque chapter. So if you're looking for a monthly writing group support, they have speakers. Talk to Jonathan after. There is a great event to go to. So a little bit about Jonathan. I'm not going to read your whole bio, but he worked in conceptual art. He was in museums in New York. And then he quit the art world to join Apple Computer back in 1982, where he was working with the McPaint program. He actually created a style guide. So he's got a great mix of writing and digital art, and he combines high-tech imagery with poetry. So it's a pleasure to have you here. So welcome.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, and thanks to Jules and to John. You guys do such a great job bringing people together for poetry. And your workshops, I hear all kinds of good things about them. And I think this is a focal point for poetry in New Mexico, but also from around the country. So they're bringing folks in and letting the world know about the vibrant New Mexico poetry scene. So thank you. She mentioned I do a fair amount of digital art and connect poetry with the art in some way. And so I want to read some poems from a series called The Liquid Border, the Rio Grande from El Paso to the Gulf of Mexico. And this is the catalog, which is a series of images of maps. I know you can't really see them, but believe me, they're maps from the USGS and satellite images and things like that to help me imagine what it's like for someone coming north through Mexico and trying to reach and cross the Rio Grande. So the poems are describing what I think they went through. So each one is connected to a particular place along the river that's somewhere along from El Paso down to the Gulf of Mexico. So this one is Mayfield Canyon. Through dust, through mud, gravel, stone, and plowed field, over the small stream, rock by rock, I approach. Blessed by the Padre, given magic by my cousin, the curandera, holding Our Lady firm between my eyes, step by step I advance. My brother Hunger, my angel Lupe, slowly, day after day, town after town, forward we go, step by step, we press on. Through the dead brush, the spikes of cactus, the sharp-teethed leaves, down the small bank to the Silver River, step by step we slip in. How cold it is, how strong this fast mud, how soft the sand. We hold hands like a bridge, and step by step we advance, becoming invisible. This one is the Arroyo San Carlos. When the rust ate the corn sprouts, we knew it was time to leave, but we did not. When Karina was taken away screaming, we found her body stuck on a cross behind the church. Oh, my little sister, we knew it was time to leave, but we did not. Bleach and gasoline, O Lady of Guadalupe, sparkling in your upright nicho, you told us it was time to leave, but we did not. The flames came across the field, the smoke familiar, the black line advancing. When the ground sat there smoking, the rains washed ash into the hut, and we knew it was time to leave, but we did not. Rebuilding the roof, scraping clear the floor, pulling our 2 pots out of the burnt pile, our old home, we knew it was time to leave, but we did not. Only then, when the gang drove their 4x4 over my son, did I gather up our rope shoes, and hand in hand, the 4 of us, Anna limping, Roderico, Benicia, and I, we set off down the mountain, and finding the impossible highway, we started our long walk north. This one is Cross Ken. I felt nothing when I pulled the rusty, wrinkled roof off, tumbled it into the ravine onto the burnt car. Nothing for our time together. The wet mud, the slipping damp walls, down they came. So easy to get rid of a house. The sun inside my head led me down the trail, my bundle, my life in a roll of cloth. I passed the cemetery, nothing. Our church, a shell. The padre, a disease. The cross, nothing. How vacant my village as I came out of the forest and slid down the red sand onto the 2-track road. No farewell, no sigh, nothing. On I went, my feet finding the road down around the curve, past the cliff that took Maria's life. Nothing rose out of the morning mist, just my breath, and deep within my head, the continuous flame. This is Tapado Canyon. 100 yards, willows, tall grass, mud. Our feet sink in. The guide curses us, the water up to my knees. Cold, like the ocean at Veracruz, like the Pepsi I drank on the bus. I tumble into a deep patch. Thank God I can swim. 2 men get dragged away. They do not have breath enough to cry out. We shake our clothes. Los Estados Unidos, muchachos. When and where? I do not know when the others died. I was dying. I could hardly see. I fell down by a sharp bush. I got up and the sand gave way. Walk, fall, rest, dream. This valley filled with water. The flood took me. The river carried me down to the sea. On the big beach, Mama came to me. I was young then. She told me of the Virgin. I gave myself up to her. When I began to wake, I heard metal clank, far-off voices. Something moved part of me, perhaps my arm. I could not speak, my tongue hard like a bone. Motionless, I realized I am no longer frying like a bug. There must be people here. When I could open one eye, I saw tubes, machines, overhead lights, a window. In the interview, I could not say what day or where the others fell away. When I could drink from a glass, the border patrols showed me a map asking where I'd been. I could only laugh and point to the Gulf of Mexico. This was the last one, the cages in McAllen, Texas. The lawyer says they will find you sometime, muy pronto. At night, scrunching my mylar blanket to my chest, I pull my knees up against the cold wall, speaking silently to you, sending you love, wherever you are, kissing your head, reminding you of your lamb and your grandma and your crib. The smell wakes me, the shifting legs, the groping fingers that find my thigh. I kick and gouge, but the migra bring in more men and bologna sandwiches. In the dark, I can feel your fear far off. I hear your crying, despite the snoring around me, the sick woman farting, the men shitting themselves on the open drain. Oh, Eduardo, why did I ever trust America? So that series has led me to think about another group of people coming into the US. In this case, some of my ancestors, the Puritans who came to New England in the 1630s. In my family farm, there are a number of pictures from the 19th century of really dour people frowning, all in black, very unhappy. They're my ancestors. So I've got interested in what was the Reformation in England, what drove people to leave England and come to the empty land where, of course, disease had killed off most of the Massachusetts tribe of the Wampanoags along the coast of Massachusetts. But to go back in time, I went back to the beginning of the Reformation in England. And this is an ode to William Tyndale, who's the person who wrote most of what we think of as the King James Version of the Bible. John the Evangelist, onorkean ho logos, kai ho logos, en pros tondean, kai theos, en ho logos. St. Jerome, in principio erat verbum, and verbum erat apud Deum, et Deus erat verbum. William Tyndale, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Even his enemy, Sir Thomas More, granted that Tyndale was well liked and a good preacher, but Tyndale himself, while crafting the English Bible, found himself without grace in the sight of men, speechless and rude, dull and slow-witted. But when he read the Greek New Testament, edited by Desiderius Erasmus with a Latin crib, the entire Novum Instrumentum Omne, arguing that the word of God could be a tool, the Spirit rose, and hand in hand with Erasmus, Tyndale parsed, reading the Greek, hearing the English, the little book becoming a flame through which he glimpsed his own garden, the Mayflowers offering such rich scents, the shade from the chestnut smoothing his page, as he let words flow unbidden and unforced, being in that moment an apostle, an act, a very Moses in the Pentateuch. Ecclesia became not church, but congregation. Agape meant love, not charity. Presbyteros became the elders, as his truth overcame the Latin of St. Jerome and debunked the Pope, the ritual, and the unclean tyranny of priests. Unconscious of offense, he charged into the creation. Each word became an animal to name, each phrase an unexpected fruit to taste. Translation meant death to circumstance. The four rivers carried him to the tree of life, and without a thought, the activity buoyed him beyond his desk, his shabby cloak, his cantankerous mouth. Absorption faded when the book came out. The physical fact, the precious gift, became a threat, an attack upon the church, an argument that Sir Thomas More must at length repudiate. The serpent then beckoned Tyndale to descend from the spirit into mind, and he bit. Each bite of knowledge pulling him deeper into the debate, the citation, the logic. And when the Inquisitor caught him in Brabant and put him in a cell, they talked and wrote books back and forth for a year and a half, arguing free will, the soul, and justification. But Tyndale's mind was made for martyrdom, and Jacobus Latomus, speaking for the Pope, had him strangled to death at the stake, a mercy before the dead body was burned. But the words outlived the glosses that his king found pestilential, and the subtleties of the world, how many edits, corrections, and revisions the text suffered until King James I assigned 54 scholars to prune and straighten what the Spirit had dictated through this simple and inexpert man, whose words made up more than 3/4 of the book we have today, and all the song. So now for something completely different. So I was celebrating the 4th of July, and so I was musing on the flag and on the colors of the flag. And so this is a riff or a jazz on the colors of the flag. Sing, muse, America, the red, white, and blue. Red blood, red skin, pink, Chinese red scare, redolent, ripe tomato, apple skin, maple leaf in autumn, red river, hot coals, the people, bright red dress, stiletto, soul, devil, dance, warm to touch, flushed, engorged, alive, caution, warning, stop. White light, white skin, not pink, supposedly pure to set off the black, apparently neutral, empty, blank, but with all hues at once, clean as a surgeon's smock, a wedding gown, obvious, innocuous, clear, dead, calla lilies, congregational church, white rice, white bread, sugar bowl, snowflakes, snowbound, White House. And yes, join, cooperate, share, include, progress, one more, logic gate, both true, connect, ally the two, combine, add up, alike, equal, equilibrium, harmony, blue tip stocks, blue state, blue dog, despair, grief, mourning our past, getting cold feet, seeing nothing but blue sky expanding, the horizon line, sea waters ruffling out, oceanic, one cool hue, so rare in nature, one blueberry, a single blue note, jazz. There you go. Thank you.
Thanks, Jonathan. And now John will come up and introduce Scott. Good. All right.
That was delightful, Jonathan. So,
Hey, John, just make sure you're move over here. There you go.
anyway, thanks to all of you for coming out tonight. It's my pleasure to introduce Scott Wiggerman. About a dozen years ago, I think that Scott and David moved to Albuquerque from Texas, which was transformative to our literary community in many ways. They brought their Dos Gatos press here and the anthologies that they do, and been just and then Scott took over the New Mexico State Poetry Society for several years, which Janet and now Jonathan have done, and so now it feels like they've always been here, but there are many poets in Texas like Naomi Shihab Nye that remember when they lived there. So Texas loss is our gain. It's been my fortune to be in a writing group called the Prickly Pears. I always want to say prickly pears. That's over there. The Prickly Pears, and so I've been fortunate to get to see quite a few of Scott's drafts, and now his artwork as well. He's meticulous in any art form that he does. He's meticulous, and yet never loses sight of the inspiration. So it's a great combination. And I think was the fourth book, maybe not counting
Yeah.
anthologies, is beginning and ending with Emily, Ghazals and Golden Shovels from Casa Urraca Press. I think my favorite book of yours so far, and just just delightful. And I don't know, I think he somehow is channeling Emily, so which is not nothing, right? So anyway, pleasure to once again here, Scott Wiggerman.
Thank you. Just here so that we don't get too close,
Yeah, that's fine.
because otherwise I can
You
move that a little
put your
bit.
books on the table if you'd like.
I just don't want to trip over it.
Yep, yep,
Okay.
you're good.
All right, good. Thank you all for being here tonight. This looks like a packed crowd, this is packed for the backyard, the back porch. Look at the new lights. These weren't here a week ago. Yeah. So I am going to read from two books tonight, and I'm going to start with the older book, Presence. People ask you sometimes, what is your favorite book? And you hate to answer that because it's like, no, they're all favorites. Well, this one really does hold something special for me. So I'm going to read just 5 poems from this. It is arranged in 5 sections. It is based on the elements. So we're going to hear water, air, earth, fire, and spirit. And this is the title poem from this collection, Presence. I am the blood red stain on the bone white cloth that's been in the family for years. You can hide me with a well-placed serving dish or a garish Texas centerpiece, but you cannot blot me from your memory. You've tried repeated washings, but my burgundy shadow continues to disturb. Straight-laced, God-fearing, you recite grace around me and pray I might be cleansed. As plates are cleared and conversation spills to a level furtive as an affair, I sit quietly. A stigma that won't stop bleeding. I can pretend with the best of them, but the only way to be rid of me is to throw the tablecloth out. That one was very much inspired by my in-law family.
You could write volumes about that.
And I have. This is from the air section. Vanishing point. I perfected risotto that summer, but suspect I began to fade long before that, evaporating like broth into pale white essence. Did I begin to wane as early as December? A crisp night at opposite ends of a sweltering hot tub, heat bubbling from the surface, my face dissipating into the steam? Or was it spring when I began to taper away? On a bicycle ride, possibly, down a country road in Texas, my figure shrinking as I rode ahead and became a problem of perspective. The smaller I got, the more I looked like him. I will never know at what point I started to disappear, to filter away like hourglass sand. But grain by grain, I lost substance till I vanished completely from your world. Here's an earth poem. Chimayo. I ate dirt yesterday. Kathy would be proud. The santuario has stood for almost 200 years. Who knows over that time how many have made the pilgrimage to taste of its healing dirt? If you stop at the wood-carved altar, fail to wander through 2 low side doors, you might miss the discarded crutches, the hole in the floor, the dirt, the scoop perched in it. I sifted and pinched the dirt between my fingers, dropped it into my mouth like chewing tobacco. Kathy would have taken a handful, but she's a walker of holy pilgrimages, a believer. All I know is that I still have that pain in my side, and even after brushing, I'm biting down on grit between my teeth. This is the fire section, sound barrier. This silence is shattered. Tiny shards of quiet embed in my feet so that with each step, I remember the pain of where I've been. I cannot speak in complacent tongues or conspire with those who prefer our mute. My feet have hardened, lost the path of least resistance, adapted like young amputees. I am prepared to walk across coals and listen to the crackle of molten glass. And I don't always write hopeful things, but this one's fine. As you'll hear when I read from Emily, this is from the spirit section, omnipotence. Seedlings, tiny green planets drawn like compass points in the same diurnal direction, imperfectly lined up in an ordered microcosm. In this universe, I am God, master planner, wielder of life, all the terrible responsibilities a higher power should possess. If the seedlings don't flourish, bear fruit, or grow straight, should I withhold their water, yank them out like some vile weed, burn them, hate them, ignore them? Not an angry, but a benevolent being. I love the hopeful lives, tiny necks outstretched, green tongues shimmering toward the sun. Thank you. So these are from, this book was published 15 years ago. So I'm moving into the book published this year, which is called Beginning and Ending with Emily. And this one is a little bit different. Yes, I did the cover. I have some copies of some silk screens that I made based on the cover in there for sale, as well as books. And I am going to do something a little different for this second part of the reading, because I couldn't decide what to read tonight. I'm going to let you decide for me. So I have from the first section, which is called Sweet skepticism of the heart, which is a line from Emily Dickinson. All these poems either begin or end with lines from Emily Dickinson. And that was my kind of modus operandi. It got me moving through the poems. It got me thinking about her themes, which are very similar to a lot of my own themes. So I was very pleased with being able to do this. Anyway, the first section runs from page 3 to 39. I am just going to have you call out a number, and whatever is on that page, that's what I'm going to read tonight. So
14.
we're going random. 14?
14.
All right, here we go. 14. Never trust anyone who says, trust me. I like a look of agony because I know it's true. This is an Emily Dickinson line, by the way. I like a look of agony because I know it's true. I never trust a pearly smile whose yes is no. It's true. As wars drag on, I see terrorists in every face. You say, in a way, we're all profilers. Sad, though it's true. Can't you smell the poet despite his quiet camouflage? You avoid my red eyes. Instead, stare at my toe. It's true. I read your every thought, though in separate heads we stay. Through separate windows, we scorn moon's glow. It's true. Some days I want to lash your tongue to a splintered mast. You've heard that weary seafaring song before, so it's true. Danger, like steel, has that metallic taste to warn you. The salesman at the door has many tricks in tow. It's true. I sometimes construe faith as a form of foolishness. Trust no one. It is what it is. Go with the flow. It's all true. I want another number.
7.
I was gonna say
29.
Yeah.
I'm just doing right now up to 39.
29.
So what did I hear?
7.
7. Okay. Well, if 2 people want 7, I hope it's worth it. Our last night together. A great hope fell, you heard no noise. Here, where cicadas once chirred, no noise. 3 things. First, oppressive heat. Second, a slight prickliness. Third, no noise. Can you sense the rats in the bedroom walls? The cat drags in a mangled bird. No noise. A clamor of creatures, a rustle of leaves. You chide, shut up, not a word, no noise. A stupor of pain descends on the house. Your drunken words slurred. No noise. I hear the remains of midnight in my blood. Remember when I preferred no noise. An alarm peals out. Or is that a scream? You open an eye, dreams interred, no noise. Something cracks, then a thud on the roof, a sound of heaving. Afterward, no noise. Did you have one?
29.
29. So far, these are guzzles, so you may have heard repeated phrasing in them, which is what's part of the guzzle. But this 29 is different. This is one of the golden shovels in the book. And the golden shovels are even shorter, but they end with Emily Dickinson lines. But the words run down the page, her words run down the page at the end. So in this one, underneath their fine incisions stirs the culprit life. That's her words. This is a poem called Only in Jules Verne. I loved Jules Verne when I was a kid. I just love those. Only in Jules Verne. They hypothesize what lies underneath the lithosphere. Tectonic plates, their brittle and elastic movements, their fine dance provide evidence. Deformations, incisions. Think deeper. A molten liquid stirs in a conjectured outer core, or so the geologists claim, though none has seen the culprit, that primordial heat of the earth's bowels, life. Anyone else?
15.
15. Going back here. This is kind of a fun way to do it, because this way I'm totally unprepared what's coming. This one's called The Mystery of Love. There are several poems throughout this book called The Mystery of. And believe it or not, this sounds like the Beatles, but this is Emily Dickinson's first line. That love is all there is all we know of love. What seems like a high might be the plateau of love. The first rush, like raging down the heart's mad rapids. Out of my head, over you, the vertigo of love. Yes, my love, tattooed on their fingers in place of rings. Is it the wine, or is theirs the true glow of love? We're issued papers to prove our love is legal, but, Mr. President, there is no Bureau of Love. Facebook ad. Christian singles waiting to meet you. YouTube. All you need is a video of love. Other fish in the sea. Mother's words to console. Some are sharks lurking in the undertow of love. Or the turn to a crime of passion, a kitchen knife. Blood muddies linoleum and the scenario of love. We know it might not last, but take that path anyway. Breaking up, cheaply defined, the to and fro of love. A desperate heart shrivels like a seed in the sun. When water's too scarce, there can't be a flow of love. Remember the last love letter you ever wrote? Remember the court and spark of long ago love? I love Joni Mitchell too, so I had to throw her in. There's all kinds of references throughout in this. Let's do one more from this section. So somebody else give me a number.
35.
35. All right. And you might recognize this title actually. Miles to Go.
Yeah.
I have also great love of Robert Frost, and He comes through in these poems too. Miles to go. Heart not so heavy as mine, wending late home. A thorn through the soul, my tortured gate home. A leaden shadow is tethered to the heart. Drag, drag. Am I the bait, or is the bait home? Fend off the ravens. Gather feathers for hope. Broken twigs for nests. How we venerate home. If love is a house, I've never slept in its rooms. After but 3 miles, we begin to hate home. Gray winter solstice, frost on the bark and beard. Darkness comes early as we slog our way home. Palms on my eyes, I stagger through the brambles. It's more and more difficult to locate home. No porch light on, beneath the doormat, no key. No windows to break. How to recreate home? I'm going to move onward into the second section of the book, which is also from a line from Emily Dickinson, Raffle for My Soul. And these run from page 43 to 73. 43 to 73. Give me a number.
69.
59.
69.
69. Okay, we've got another golden shovel. So this will be short. The Emily Dickinson line in this one is, as stars that drop anonymous from an abundant sky. I mean, her poems were so rich that they were so easy to riff off of. I just love them. And I wouldn't have said that back when I was in high school. I couldn't stand that. So it surprises me too. Hope. Constellations infinite as imagination. But stars need no names, nor tales that describe their origin. A drop of a drop, I am anonymous. A grain of a grain, dull from anywhere, distant, an unseen mote in an abundant universe. Yet I gaze at the sky. How could you not? Look at this sky. This is the perfect setting from behind me. Shout out another number.
49.
49. Okay. I have never done a reading like this before, so this is actually a lot of fun for me too. A kind of stasis. It's such a little thing to weep, so short a thing to sigh. The eyes are dry, but inside there's a need to wring a sigh. The tiny echo of the tick and tock of each second. Can days and days of sleeplessness only bring a sigh? The silence of the morning, stillness of the afternoon, but nothing like what's heard late in the evening, that sigh. Imagine trees that never green, skies that never blue. The blinds are shut, the lights are off, to want, to cling, to sigh. a multi-billion-dollar business. Wellness is endless. Yet that nagging feeling like a vulture's wing, this sigh. Water or earth, drowning or burial, aren't they the same? Those childhood fears of breathlessness, how I'm aching to sigh. I'm empty, lost, rocking in the dark. You're the victor. You're the ruler of the cave. I'm the underling. Your sigh. I don't know what my time is like, but
Yeah, a couple of.
okay. So give me another number.
I need to, oh, sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
57.
I said something before.
57. Okay. Gone. Each that we lose takes part of us, but some deaths stab the heart of us. Must obits be template bland? No one remembers apart from us. Shock of the defibrillator, shock of knowing, a start to us. A lacquered form fills the casket, but doesn't view like art to us. Again, we're left without a tongue. What words can you impart to us? No waxy smile, no goodbye hug. Timeless, they depart from us. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you for listening and appreciating, and we'll have some more
Yeah,
discussion
great.
here.
Scott and Jonathan here. I'm gonna turn off the recording, but we thank our Zoom audience, and you can listen to this later if you like.